Imagine standing on the deck of a wooden ship in the middle of a massive storm at night. The waves are as tall as houses, the wind is screaming, and the wood beneath your feet is groaning. You have no control over the ocean. You cannot command the wind to stop, and you cannot force the clouds to part. Most people in this situation would scream, panic, or freeze in terror. But there is one person on the deck who looks completely calm. They are not calm because they think they are invisible, or because they believe a miracle will save them. They are calm because they understand a simple, brutal truth. They know exactly what they can control, and exactly what they cannot. They cannot control the storm, but they can control their hands on the wheel. This is not just a story about a ship. This is the exact condition of modern human life. We live in a world that feels like a permanent storm of data, expectations, unexpected crises, and chaotic events. We constantly try to control the weather of our lives. We try to force other people to like us. We try to guarantee our future success. And we try to banish uncertainty. When we fail, we feel anxious, broken, and helpless. But thousands of years ago, a group of thinkers...
Every single day, you wake up and enter a massive arena of variables. You worry about whether your train will be on time, whether your boss will approve of your work, whether your health will fail, or whether the economy will collapse. We treat all of these worries as if they are the same. But the ancient philosophers argued that your reality is actually split down the middle by a sharp, invisible line. On one side of the line are the things that belong entirely to you. On the other side are the things that belong to the rest of the universe. This concept is called the dichotomy of control. It is the foundational pillar of the Stoic mind. The rules are deceptively simple. Your thoughts, your intentions, your desires, and your actions belong to you. The weather, the past, the future, the global economy, and the opinions of other people do not belong to you. When you suffer from anxiety, it is almost always because you have crossed this invisible line. You are investing your mental energy, your happiness, and your self-worth into things that you do not own. If you tie your happiness to the praise of your boss, you have handed them the remote control to your mind. If you become angry because it is raining on the day of your outdoor event, you are fighting a war against the sky. A war against reality is a war you will lose every single time. The Stoic does not ignore the outside world. They simply change where they place their focus. When a crisis happens, they do not ask why this happened to them. They do not wish the world was different. They immediately ask,
We like to believe that we are rational creatures who see the world exactly as it is. If someone insults us, we believe the insult made us angry. If we lose our job, we believe the job loss made us depressed. But this is a psychological illusion. Events do not possess the power to make you feel sad, angry, or betrayed. An event is just a neutral piece of data. It is a blank canvas. The ancient thinkers observed that we are not disturbed by things, but by the opinions we form about things. Between the moment an event happens and the moment you feel an emotion, there is a tiny hidden step. That step is your interpretation. You are the narrator of your own life, and the story you tell yourself determines your entire emotional reality. Imagine two people who are both caught in a sudden downpour of rain without an umbrella. The first person becomes furious, thinking that the universe is actively trying to ruin their day. Their mood is destroyed. The second person smiles, thinking that the plants in their garden will finally get a good drink. The rain is exactly the same for both people. The only difference is the lens through which they view it. This means that you hold an incredible power. You cannot always...
Most modern self-help advice tells us to practice positive visualization. We are told to manifest our dreams, visualize absolute success, and imagine that everything will go perfectly. While this can feel motivating, it also makes us incredibly fragile. When you only visualize victory, the slightest unexpected obstacle can shatter your confidence and leave you panicked. The Stoics practiced the exact opposite technique. They called it the premeditation of evils. Instead of imagining that everything will go perfectly, they intentionally visualized the absolute worst-case scenario before it ever happened. They would sit quietly and imagine losing their wealth, losing their reputation, facing a terrible illness, or losing the people they love the most of all. At first glance, this sounds incredibly depressing and pessimistic, but it is actually a profound tool for mental freedom. When you hide from your fears, they grow larger in the shadows of your mind. They haunt you. But when you drag your worst fears into the light and look at them directly, they lose their power over you. By visualizing the worst-case scenario, you achieve two things. First, you remove the element of shock. If a crisis happens, you do not panic because you have...
We spend a massive amount of our lives trying to avoid obstacles. We want smooth roads, easy paths, and flawless plans. When a roadblock appears in our career, our relationships, or our personal goals, we treat it as an enemy. We complain that our progress has been stopped. But there is a radical mental shift that can turn every single obstacle into fuel. The ancient emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that an obstacle is not a wall that stops you. It is a guidepost that shows you your next arena of growth. Think of a fire. When you throw a bucket of water on a tiny flame, you extinguish it. But when a fire is massive and hot, throwing a log onto it does not stop it. The fire simply consumes the log, uses it as fuel, and grows even larger and brighter. You want to become like that massive fire. If your business fails, that is a terrible obstacle. But it is also an unprecedented masterclass in entrepreneurship. It forces you to learn resilience, analyze your mistakes, and build a better strategy. If someone betrays your trust, that is deeply painful. But it is also a perfect opportunity to practice forgiveness, patience, and emotional self-reliance. Every problem contains a hidden lesson. The obstacle is not a disruption of the path. The obstacle is the path.
At its core, this philosophy is not a set of rules to memorize. It is a daily practice designed to make your life better by stripping away the heavy, unnecessary weights you carry. You do not need to carry the weight of the future, the weight of other people's expectations, or the weight of things you can never change. When you truly accept the distinction between what is yours and what is not, a profound shift occurs. You stop being a victim of your circumstances. You realize that your peace of mind is never at the mercy of the outside world unless you choose to give it away. You can stand in the middle of the storm, feel the wind on your face, and remain completely anchored. As you move through your week, try to apply this simple filter to your anxieties. When a wave of worry hits you, pause and ask yourself if this is within your control. If it is not, let it go. Focus entirely on your own character,
your own reactions, and your own choices. That is where your true power hides. Thank you for watching this episode of Make Life Better. If this perspective helped you find a moment of clarity today, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with someone who might be navigating their own storm. Stay grounded, focus on what matters, and see you in the next video.